From Fenway Nights to the Garden's roar, legends rise with the champions soar. On the ice, the Bruins fight for the crown. Drake May, the talk of the town. Ortiz's swing, the crack of the bat. Fenway's faithful tip their hat. Braves legacy, 6 rings pure gold. Gillette's a fortress where stories unfold. The Bruins battle, black and gold grind. Hockey heroes etched in time. Banner 18 up in the Garden skies. Boston sports where legends arise. The Celtics source where the bright lights shine. From Red Sox diamonds to the Pats front line. Bruins on the ice, breaking through the freeze. Celtics are champs and against they may please. Sit back and relax, sports are not lame. Your Celtic source back in the game.
The Boston Celtics just lost by their largest deficit of the entire season after completely shutting down and losing their composure halfway through that fourth quarter. They looked like a young and immature team out there, contrary to the veteran and smart thinking team we have all come to love and expect. Hello and welcome in to your Celtic source, home of your 21-6 second place Boston Celtics. This was an awful game for the Celtics, really on both ends of the floor. But before I get into what occurred in the final minutes of that fourth quarter, I'll start with the good news, which is that Kristaps Porzingis was back tonight and he played his full minutes without any concern or limitations on him. But he left that game on Sunday against the Wizards with a ankle soreness or bruise, and you always get worried with him that every play, every jump ball, sort of every dive to the floor he makes, it's gonna send him to the injury report for 4 weeks, whereas a normal player might only be out for 2. So luckily it wasn't the same ankle as the one he had got surgery on, but nevertheless, I'm coming to expect that, right? He might not be there. We can't expect him to be there in the playoffs. So we got to find ways to win without him. And if he's there, just a luxury. Anyway, he had a pretty solid night. I think he had 20 points, 8 rebounds, 3 blocks. Really the only source of offense out there when the threes were just not falling. And let me tell you this, I think the Celtics and the Bulls combined to sort of tie the record for most missed threes in a game, which the Bulls and Hornets actually set 2 weeks ago at 75. But really this was all the Celtics, because the Bulls started making their threes down the stretch. And the Celtics just kept missing. And partly the reason of this, right, Jaylen Brown did not have his best game tonight. Only 19 points on 7 of 17 shooting, 1 for 8 from behind the arc. And, if he wasn't ready to play today, if he didn't have that sort of edge in him that he always brings, that energy, I'm going to give him some slack in this one, because he's been dealing with some hard times this week, right? His mother was actually the victim of a attempted break-in robbery this week in her house in Atlanta, Georgia. All right, and Jaylen Brown's been dealing with the media, his family, his mother, and even the own Celtics organization, who has tried to comfort him, but sometimes you just don't want that. So if Jaylen Brown was I'm sure he wanted to play, but if he was just out there, I'm gonna give him some slack for this game. Right, this was actually not the reason for the Celtics just completely falling apart, losing their composure down the stretch. And the reason for this, right? Two reasons. The first is that it was a poor shooting night for the Celtics, right? 19 for 52, 25% by the end. And halfway through that fourth quarter, right, frustration is starting to kick in, and it really boils over in one play. Really not one play, maybe like a span of like 1 minute halfway through that fourth quarter, right? The ref calls a jump ball after Derek White his three clangs off the rim, and the ref calls a jump ball jump ball for Pritchard when both Pritchard, Brown, and I think it was DeSumo who was there sort of hustling and sort of diving for the ball, right? So the ref calls a jump ball on Pritchard, and Joe Mazzulla is livid with that call. Especially because Brown has that height advantage over both Pritchard and DeSumo. Right? And Joe Mazzulla gets teed up. And this is partially to ignite a spark. I think he might have known that Pritchard had got to the ball first. I mean, it's clear and obvious that Pritchard's there first, and so he'd be the one right, he'd be the one to take the jump ball. I think maybe it was just because the ref doesn't call it until Brown is on the ball as well, which is what makes it think like Brown should get that call. Really, they should have called it earlier. But, right, so Jaylen Brown, Joe Mazzulla gets teed up to ignite a spark in the team, right? His team cannot get it going, and so he's trying to get the crowd back into it, trying to get his team riled up. And then, just seconds later, Jaylen Brown gets teed up for the most absurd call I've ever seen. He goes up to the ref who called that tee on Joe and is like, "You just teed him up for no reason." And the ref is then like, "If you say that again, I'll tee you up as well." And sure enough, right, Jaylen Brown says it again, and he gets teed up. The ref just like threatened him with his whistle. I mean, that's just pathetic to say the least. Taking the game into your own hands. Like, there's not a single person in the stands of TD Garden that came to see you. Unless you bought tickets for your family specifically, which I doubt you did. But there's not a single person that is out there to see you, but still you want to make the game about you, right? Justin Van Dime calls these two fouls, or the two techs on Joe and Brown, and then I believe Cody White comes down and makes a big three, and so just like that, it goes from being a 3-point game to an 8-point game in less than 20 seconds. And the Celtics go down to miss their shot, and then Jayson Tatum picks up a frustration foul on Zach LaVine. And the funny thing about this, right, Justin Van Dime was getting his moment, and so, right, what's his name, Tony Brothers, that's his name. Tony Brothers is like, "Nope, I'm the head ref here. Let me get my moment." And so he just tees up Jayson Tatum. And I didn't even see what Jayson Tatum did. He probably just turned his back and clapped or something. And right in the span of 1 minute, it goes from a 3-point game to a 9-point game and the game's over. Right? Like, way to, like, absolutely, like, ruin the chances of another team. Right? That's just embarrassing. I love the way Joe Mazzulla handled it in the locker room afterwards. He said, quote, "I had not seen those guys in a while, and I wanted to wish them Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays." What an awesome response from Joe, making fun of the way that the game was called and even the reporters that were asking him these questions. Joe Mazzulla might get suspended for a game. He's already getting fined for sure, but he might miss the game against the Bulls again Saturday night. The problem was that this was actually not the only reason that the Celtics lost the game, right? They lost it because of just absolutely atrocious defense, right? Blown coverages all over the court, right? And Jaden Springer got minutes in this game. I have no idea why, because he hasn't played a single meaningful minute in that in a game yet this season. And Joe Mazzulla puts him out there for an extended stretch when the game was tight in that fourth quarter as well, right? Jayson Springer is known for his defense. He's not a scorer, and he plays right. Right, he's known for his on-ball defense, and he does a good job on Cody White and Levine, but when he got sort of switched, man, did he just could not find his player that he had to guard. He just was getting lost on every play. And this just led to just easy drives to the basket. I think Zach LaVine scored a open layup, I think, in 4 straight possessions in that fourth quarter. Right, like, and this might partly because this might have been a reason because Pritchard was the one closing and not Holiday, right? We needed offense, so he went with Pritchard, and we've seen this a lot this year, but right, I think this is a game where, even though you need that offense, when we couldn't get a stop, you had to get Holiday back in there. Yeah, that's about it, right? Like, you move on from this game, but this game does show some concerning things about the Celtics, especially because you had your full roster except for Sam Hauser, who just had a rough season, right? Out with multiple back pain spasms, just cannot get into a rhythm, and especially because his main job is just to come down and knock down shots. If he's struggling to get into a rhythm and his percentage is down, he becomes unplayable, right? So you take this game, you learn from it, you move on, right? They play this team again Sunday, or Saturday. Yeah, that's gonna be it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Follow the channel on social media so you don't miss out on scores, highlights, etc. I'm traveling for Christmas break, so I won't have videos coming out from the Christmas Day game. I probably will have a video coming out Saturday though, about the Patriots. And until next time, go Celtics.
The Celtics source where the bright lights shine. From Red Sox diamonds to the Pats front line. Bruins on the ice. breaking through the freeze. Celtics are champs and against they may please. Sit back and relax, sports are not lame. Your Celtics are back in the game.